giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Patriot is someone who was willing to give his life for his country and served honorably in Iraq.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
Great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hello, everybody. I wish Tracy Two-Step was here today, but she is home very sick. And so today you're just stuck with me and my amazing guests. We all know Steve Nash. He was on another one of our shows several weeks ago, months ago, Navy SEAL Steve Nash. And this is his wife, K-Ben. And so we are going to read her bio, and because it is quite the bio. We're honored to welcome her because she is definitely a woman whose quiet courage speaks louder than words. Her name is K-Ben, a wartime nurse from Vietnam's Central Highlands, a Montagnard refugee, and a living reminder of resilience, sacrifice, and the bonds forged in battle. In 1969, while serving near the fiercely contested Ben Nash Special Forces camp, she was the first nurse to treat a wounded U.S. Army soldier, Special Forces Major Mike Linney, under fire. Decades later, in an extraordinary moment of fate, she reunited with him right here in America, recognizing one another, the memory, and the smile. After escaping persecution, K-Ben arrived in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1992 with a group of Montagnard refugees. Since then, she and her husband, Steve Nash, have remained steadfast in their support of the veteran community, serving with the Greensboro Marine Corps League, and carrying forward the values of honor, compassion, and service. K-Ben's story isn't just history, it's heart. From battlefield care to healing at home, she represents everything this show stands for: resilience, truth, and the quiet power of those who never stop serving. Please help us welcome the extraordinary K-Ben, a true warrior in spirit and heart.
We'll qualify this. K-Ben has had 2 strokes, and she has very, very severe dementia. So I'm basically going to tell her story, and I've gleaned this story from other GIs. I didn't serve with her in Vietnam. I didn't meet her until I came to Greensboro 10 years ago.
That part is amazing all by itself, because a lot of people think that you've known.
No,
they just naturally assume that you knew each other.
I came here to visit Mike Linney, one of the gentlemen that she rescued out of the field. And when I came, Mike Linney, George Clark, and some other Special Forces people threw a party for the Montagnards here in the area. We have over 3,000 Montagnards in this area. And they threw a party for a bunch of them, and K-Ben came to the party, and I met her there 10 years ago. And then 2 years after we were married, she had her first stroke, and I have been a caretaker ever since.
Now, I want to know, because I've never heard this story. Yeah. What happened from you meeting her at the party to like the first date?
That was the first date.
Right. But I meant, like, was that it? You just knew you were smitten?
Well, yeah, it was, and plus all the Special Forces guys were saying, hey, K-Ben, that guy there,
I really wanted to know the story, because I did.
But we did date a little bit, and it was a year later we were married, I think, when I met her at the party. But anyway, that's how I met her, is through some of my Special Forces friends. Now, K-Ben, when she was very young, she's a Montagnard. She speaks 13 Montagnard dialects, 13 different tribes. She's fluent. and all the different languages.
And I just learned that today.
And she speaks a little bit of French, and she speaks English. She learned English in high school. She was the first coho Montagnard from her tribe to go to high school.
Wow.
Her father was the village chief, and he absolutely wanted her to go to high school. So she did. She went to high school, and you heard the story. Her mother was real mean to her and all that. And when your mother didn't want you to go to high school, right? Your mother? Where did you go? And
I stay home and cook and clean for her.
home and cook and clean?
Yeah, I did up like 3 o'clock in the morning.
And she beat you with a bamboo stick.
Yeah, she does. So I don't care about her, and I love my dad.
So her dad took her from the village.
My
And
dad, he put me in school.
put you in school, and you stayed in
I stay with my friend in school.
you stayed with a friend near the school?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
her mother is very nice to me. She meets me when I leave the country here.
So then when you finished school, you went to nursing school in Saigon.
I went to Saigon for a year, and then I coming back. I work with Special Force
Project Concern.
Project Concern.
And
Now, what
she was,
project concern?
okay, Project Concern was an NGO that was a medical, they did med caps.
People in
They took care of Montagnards.
Chinese men and Chinese and American. I translate.
And you said you one German word.
No, not
No,
German.
okay.
Lady German. She don't speak English good, so I don't understand. And sometimes I understand she speak English. She speak her language. She is
German.
German. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so Caban got her nurse's training, and she was supposed to go into the Vietnamese army. Of course, they weren't going to have a Montagnard. That was forbidden.
Okay.
So she went back to her village.
And people don't understand why. Like,
Well, the Montagnards and the Vietnamese don't really see eye to eye, especially at that time they did. And a lot of racism there.
okay.
And so she went back to her village. Her father was still alive. Her father had been a soldier for the French in their Montagnard army. And so special forces had moved into her village where she was gone. She didn't have any contact with special forces before. Well, they found out that she could speak all these languages, and they also found out that she was a nurse. And
how
it
did they
turned
find
out,
this out?
huh?
How did they find this out?
Well, they interrogated, she applied for a job, and they
Okay.
interviewed her. And then they found out a little later on that she was extremely good at interrogation. So her job description when she was hired, when she was contracted by the special forces, was interpreter, interrogator, and combat nurse.
Wow.
And
Again.
she actually,
We were the baby a lot and kept.
yeah, and she also was a midwife.
Yeah, I work hard only, and then I take some nurse, and I need them to help me, and they do that. So they don't speak my language, but I speak them dialect.
About how many camps were you responsible for? How many camps did they transfer you from?
12.
12 different camps.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. She
take
she
me and
Yeah.
I translate for them, and
She would go from camp to camp, A camp
Yeah.
to A camp.
medic big take me there, and they come back and take me and bring me home.
Sometimes a medevac, sometimes she had her own personal loach.
So how long would she be at each camp?
As much as 3 months, 3 or
Okay.
4 months. And she would actually go in the field with the special forces.
Yeah, I had to go to the field a lot.
And she carried her 38 in a medical pack. And she, one of the stories that I thought was interesting is which camp were you? You were in 2 or 3 camps that were overrun by the NBA, right?
Mhm.
By the North.
Yeah,
Which one was it where you get wounded?
Duklop.
Duklop,
Mhm.
and the Battle of Duklop. Duklop was overrun.
Okay.
Okay, and they were overrun by the NVA. They came across the wire. They were actually in the camp. She was in the medical bunker treating American GIs that were wounded and CIDG Mountain Yard troops. And she was in whites. She wasn't in her camouflage. She normally wore camouflage.
Right.
And she wasn't in her camouflage. So when the NVA came in, they saw her, but they saw some little old lady, she wasn't old then,
Right.
little lady,
The way they thought.
standing there, you know,
Harmless.
at the medical table, cleaning up blood or whatever. And they thought, oh, okay, that's cool. And they left her. They left her alone.
Not realizing.
Then they brought her, they're wounded.
Oh.
That was a big mistake because most of them didn't survive. And so Kabim was there. The NVA got run off by Mike Force. They sent in a Mike Force, which is a strike force to help these camps if they get
Okay.
overrun. And Mike Force came in and she stayed at the table. You know, she stayed at the operating table. Well, this was 3 days. 2 times the NVA took over the camp. 3 days she stood at that table. Finally, when the last Mike Force came in, one of the medics turned around came into the medical bunker to help her. And he turned around and he looked at her and he said, "What's the blood all over your?" Well, she had been wounded. Her legs were full of shrapnel from a B-40 rocket. And she didn't even know it. And she stood at the table for 3 days and took care of people. Plus, at the same time, there were several women in the Mountain Yard village surrounding the camp that were pregnant that had babies.
John, tell us how many babies.
Oh,
Did
I
you
deliver a lot, yeah. Sometimes 2, 3 them have a baby, and then we don't have no another midwife, only me.
And she
Yeah.
actually had,
I deliver
Right.
a baby on the chopper too.
I
Yeah.
remember that story. And so I feel like this is a good time to, I don't know if this is a sore subject, but what's remarkable to me is that in reality, and I know you fought for this for a very long time, she was one of you,
absolutely.
but she's never been recognized.
She's never been
Like she should have
recognized.
had a Purple Heart.
She's on
Period,
Medicare.
right? She has in no way been recognized
No.
in this country
No.
for all that she did.
Matter of fact, very
So if there's
recently,
anybody that can fix that.
we've tried. There's letters in, and I've talked to people, and it's just, yeah, oh, who? You know. But recently, I had a gentleman approach me on the street. I mean, we were at an event, not on the street, we were at an event. And the man came up to me and he looked at Kabin and he said, "Is she really an American citizen?"
Oh, Lord.
You know, and I said, did you ever serve? He said, "No." Like, why would I? This is kind of the attitude, you know. And I said, "Well, let me tell you something, my friend. She's been in this country. She's raised 5 children. She has 11 grandchildren in this area and about 8 great-grandchildren now. And she raised all these kids by herself in this country. And she fought for this country for 18 years before she ever saw it. And the first thing she did when she came to this country is get her citizenship. So I guess that makes her more of a citizen than you are, since you never bothered to serve."
Amen to that. Amen to that.
But-
and I know because I've heard the stories from both of you.
But yeah, and so that's and Mike Linane, the gentleman that you mentioned in the introduction.
That story is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I want to know if she can try to tell part of what happened in the helicopter.
Oh, with the baby?
Yeah, can you know where she was, or not in the helicopter, but when she was with him and they wanted to send him back.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell the
What
story?
happened?
Can you tell us a story about Mike Linane?
Yeah, about Mike Linane when you went to Nabe? Or Cameron Bay?
Cameron, yeah.
Then what happened? They were going to send him back to the field?
And what did you do?
No, they send him back, and I say, "Why?" They said I don't know. He want to go home, and he looked at me, and he didn't say nothing. And he said, no, he don't want to go home. He need to stay back with me and help me. I say like that. And the guy said, oh, okay. He is general. I forget his name. General say, oh, okay. You need him? I say, I need him. Yeah, I say like that.
You sent him home.
Then I sent him home, not that day.
Hmm.
And about 1 week later, and he's sick. And I said, you want to go home? You want to go home? And he said, no, I don't want to go home. I want to go to Cambodia. You need to go to Saigon. I say like that. I go there, take you to Saigon. And I go with him to Saigon, and I put him in hospital.
And the doctors weren't going to send him home.
When I worked there, yeah. And after that, he felt better. And the doctor said they sent me letter. They called me and they said, your friend, he don't want to go home. And can you come over here with us and translate? And we don't understand much English. And I said, okay, leave him there. So I get there, me and my brother. And
you're 38.
Yeah, I get 38. I got 38. I carry 38 everywhere. I don't care about Vietnamese, say what they say. And my mom don't go with me. I just go by myself.
No, but when we went to, you pulled your 38 and said, send Mike home, right?
No, the 38 is when I go to Saigon, and I cannot carry the gun, and I leave the gun. Mom said, Mom, don't let. Mom said, leave the gun. And I give to Mom, and Mom take back home. And I said, don't leave that. Somebody take the gun, and they're going to steal. And she said, my dad said, Vietnamese go to search the house, and he asked where the Ben. They said, I don't know. My dad said like that. They're going to take me to jail. And he said, why you scare her? That's why she run. Where's she gone?
Hey,
she going back to say like my dad say like that.
How many times were you wounded?
2 times, I think. 2 times, yeah. I got one here, big here.
No, your foot and your knee too.
And and then my knee here. That's it. And here.
But you did send Mike home then.
Yeah, you sent Mike home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's more to that story if you want to.
then I said,
Actually, what happened was,
you know why? Because I don't like the Vietnamese. When I was there and they let American go through, and I don't like that. I say, no. You go through, I am second, and then American behind me. I forget his name, You know him.
Snebly?
Not Snebly. You remember the guy who was always come when we live.
George
Clark, yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw George. I said, you go home. And he said, the Vietnamese say, well, I don't go home. I said, no, you go home. He got wounded.
Yeah.
And I said, when American got wounded, they come to me and I said, you go home. Then Vietnamese LEDB say, no, go to the doctor.
Here, let me tell the story of Mike Linane. Okay,
Yeah.
man?
Mhm.
Mike Linane,
It's a good story.
when I was in Vietnam in 1965, Mike was a young soldier. He hadn't gotten his commission yet. And he was in the Trang, and I was down in that area working a Vietnamese advisor to a Vietnamese unit, SEAL unit. And Mike went in the field with us a few times. He was young. He was looking for experience. He said, can I go with you? Sure. So he went with us. He was Special Forces, Green Beret. And so I didn't see Mike again for years. Well, I heard that he got a commission later on in his career. And then Cabin rescued him. He was in charge of Ben Head camp. And they were the first ones that were attacked by tanks. And there's a YouTube video on that. So I didn't see Mike though. And then later on, Mike went to Germany, and I went to Germany and did some work with him over there. And that was the next time I saw him. Well, at that time, he was captain. Okay. then I didn't see Mike again till I came to Greensboro. When I met her, I came here to visit him and George Clark and a few
So
other
like a
guys.
common denominator between you both.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We were-
Of all the people.
and then they had a party. Mike had a party for the Mountain Yards, and Cabin came, and that's where I met her. But I knew Mike since 1965 and didn't know that. Well, now Mike he's in the Special Forces Hall of Fame, and he is in Salisbury Medical Center with very, very severe dementia. Very severe.
Except when.
Huh?
There's one moment that he doesn't have to.
Yeah. And we go to visit him about once a month. Well, when we go to visit him, he doesn't know most days who his wife is. A lot of days she doesn't know who I am. Okay, but we go to visit Mike. The minute she walks through the door, he comes right to the door, grabs her hand, and they both shuffle off down the hallway.
Wow. That is so beautiful.
It is. And she'll sit and hold his hand for 2-3 hours.
Now, how was it that he met her at the airport?
He met her at the airport because she was.
Because she didn't know. But he was
No. He was.
Such a great story.
He's the contact that found out she was in a refugee camp in the Philippines. When she left Vietnam, she didn't come to the States.
Okay.
She went to the Philippines. That's another interesting story. Is how she left Vietnam.
Yeah, that's a story you need to tell.
Yeah.
She was. I want you to tell the story after you tell the story of him of meeting her.
Right.
How she had to hide.
Okay. Yeah. She was at the end of Vietnam, when Vietnam fell in 1975. She didn't stop fighting. She joined a group called Foro, and they were
What is that called?
Foro, F-U-L-R-O, and they were
You still fight with the community.
they still fought the communists after Vietnam fell. Well, they formed a guerrilla band. Leave that one. They formed a guerrilla band, and they went in the woods. They went in the jungle in Vietnam and Cambodia, and during the killing fields, they were in Cambodia fighting the communists, and so she joined that guerrilla group. Well, of course, she was already wanted by the North Vietnamese. Well, that just cemented things. Then she became really wanted by the North Vietnamese, big time. And so she was in hiding. Then the Foro failed in 1978. The Vietnam fell in 75. Foro failed in 1978. And the reason they failed is there was no support. Nobody helped them.
Okay.
And they ran out of bullets and beans. So when that happened, Cabin went back to her village and all of her family hid her. She lived in this family in a bunker.
And that went on for how many years?
Well, from 1978 till 1991.
1978
To
to
1991.
1991.
Right. She
For
hid.
13 years.
She hid. And
13 years.
finally, a police officer, a Vietnamese police officer, communist police officer, came to her and said, "Look, I've known you since you were a baby. I don't want to kill you, but, I'm going to have to take you in." And he said, "You have to leave the country. You've got to get out of here." And gave it the Italian salute, Well, she had money because her first husband was an American in Vietnam, and her husband had sent her money, and she had hidden it, along with all of the rest of her stuff. So,
Now, did she have any children at that point?
She had 2 children, Neri and Andy,
So
who are both living here in Greensboro.
So she had to move Mary and Andy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, she didn't have to move them too much. They mainly stayed with her parents.
Okay, so they made it seem like Gibbon was gone.
Yeah.
But they had the grandchildren. Okay.
So, and she has no documents or photographs or anything from her first husband because her family burned everything. Because if the communists would have found it, they would have killed 3 generations of her family. So,
I don't think people appreciate.
yeah.
what
So
that
anyway,
means.
this policeman came to her and said, "You've got to go." And she said, "Well, I can't.
How do I go?
Yeah, how do I get out of here? And he came back the next day with fake papers, with phony papers that he got somewhere. He got these phony papers. He brought her to her, and within a couple of days, she was on a flight to the Philippines. And you took Neri and Andy with you, right?
Mhm.
Your children went to the Philippines, and she was in a refugee camp in the Philippines.
Now, how long were you there, Kevin?
6 months.
6 months.
I had to go to school for 6 months.
Yeah.
And what was it like there?
I like it. They're good to me. That everywhere I go, nobody do nothing. They're good to me. And then I went to from Philippines. I went to
Greensboro. Philippines and
to
Greensboro.
Greensboro, yeah.
Yeah. But Mike was in charge of
Mike
bringing,
Lennon, Mike Lennon and John.
yeah, Mike Lennon and John Spencer, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
come by and
They were bringing Mountain Yard refugees into Greensboro.
Mhm.
And so they found out that she was in the Philippines, and they snatched her up. And they got her into. She landed out there at the Piedmont Airport. Mike was on
So
the.
can you remember that?
yeah.
Do you remember how did you feel when you saw him?
First time I looked because I didn't know much, and I said, "Why the guy come?" And Andy said, "Mom, he bring a lot of stuff, and he looking for you." And Andy don't speak English, and so he coming back. Him and John. He said, "Do you need anything?" I said, "No, because I have a lot of stuff, and I have my boyfriend from Washington D.C. come by. He
Your
bring,
husband, first husband.
yeah, and he bring a lot of stuff." And then I said, "Where we gonna put?" And he said, "Mom."
Yeah, but you met Mike at the airport, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. How did you feel when you said you remember meeting him at the airport?
yeah. I didn't know him in from Vietnam, and I said, "Why that guy come over here and bring a lot of stuff?" And my son say like that. I said, "Oh, he let keep."
Yeah, but you recognized Mike at the airport when you finally came to you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he tell me, and I recognize him, and I remember that guy. And mom and my son said, and he said, "You sure, Mom?" I said, "Yeah, he is military. He went to Vietnam." And I don't know his name. Then he give me his name. He give me his address, everything.
Because you took care of a lot of people, so it would probably be hard to remember.
I cannot remember him.
There's not a lot of you, but there's a lot of him.
Yeah. So, and I said, "I know you in Vietnam." And he said, "Yeah, you remember when we go to the field and raining and you swim to the water." He said like that. And I said, "Oh."
Oh, that's a good story.
Swim? Yeah, I
Yeah.
never heard this story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I swim.
when she was after Vietnam fell, when she was in the photo, they were in the jungle, and they only had a few women. The rest of it was mainly men, right?
Mhm.
And these are guerrillas. These are tough. These are guys.
And women are safe? I mean,
No, they weren't.
I
A lot of
would think
women
you
didn't.
would be.
No, a lot of women did not make it out of the
Not
photo.
woman cannot come home.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it
anyway,
seemed hard to believe. When you're
So anyway, she's in this group, right? And they're treating her good because she's a medic, right? So yeah,
oh,
she's
she's
okay.
valuable.
So every night she said she would go to the nearest river, creek, or stream or whatever, take a bath. She said a lot of the women didn't. She didn't like to walk behind them.
Oh.
But she would go every night, take a bath. Well, one night she's in the river, right? Took her clothes off, pulled them up, put them out on the bank, right? She's in the river swimming around, right? Right?
I got swimming suit and
Yeah.
I go swimming.
Yeah, you're swimming, and all of a sudden you hear people on the bank, right?
Mhm.
You hear people up there, and
Yeah.
they're VC, right?
Yeah.
And they're looking for her.
Oh.
Okay, so they're going up and down the bank, and they find her clothes, and they took her clothes.
Hmm.
So she sneaks out of the river, and she sneaks through the
And
brush.
goodness, you had a bathing suit on.
Mhm.
I thought you didn't have a bathing suit.
No, I
No,
have
she-
bathing
she's
suit.
in-
Okay. So she climbed up a tree, and she got up in the tree, and there was a big hole in the tree, and she got in the hole in the tree. And she said she was sitting up there, and she's looking down these people walking around the bottom of the
looking for her.
Yeah. And how long did you stay in that tree?
I think it one night. One night.
All
All
night.
night you stayed in the tree.
All night I stayed there, yeah. And my brother, he said, maybe they take her. He said like that, and he cried. And I say, who's? I say like that, and he didn't hear me. And other boy said, I heard somebody talk in the tree. And he said, who talk in the tree? You lie. He said like that. He said, yeah. And I said, I'm here. I say like that. and my brother, he's very happy. He cried. He said, I think they take her. He said like that. And the boy say, oh, I heard somebody talking on the tree. I say, I'm here. I say like that. And they coming back. The boy coming back, and I throw the the stick. I say, I'm here. And he called uncle. He called my brother, and he said, what? Why you call? He said, here, Ben here. He said like that. He did not call my name. He said, Neri mother here. Neri mother here. He said like that. And my brother is very happy, and
She had two brothers that died in the military.
and he's very happy. And he said, wow, did you hungry? I said, not really. I say, and they know I do not hungry. I stay 3 days, 4 days, not hungry. I eat fruit. I eat something out. I don't eat rice much. And some like women, they eat their fat like that. They cannot walk.
Okay, Ben. So anyway, so from 1962 is when she was contracted.
Okay.
Until 1978, she was in combat. And she was in hiding from 1978 to
So
1980.
16 years she was in combat. 13 years she was hiding.
Yeah. And
So then she went to the Philippines for 6 months.
She came to the United States, and her husband had remarried. He
Mhm.
was married to an American lady.
He married
And
before that.
he brought,
He sent me letter. He got married.
Yeah.
And I said, you got married. I got married too.
so anyway, he was very generous. He came, he gave the kids a lot of stuff. He ended up giving Andy a car later on.
Yeah.
And he treated her very, very well when she came back. Plus all the soldiers that were here that knew her, that she had patched up at one time, another treated her well.
But I read that all she had to do was smile, and Mike, that's how Mike knew who she was.
Yeah. And she give that big smile.
I was just
Let's see
gonna
that
say,
big smile.
let's see your
Let's
big
see that big
smile.
smile.
Come on.
Come on. Let's see that
Show
big
your
smile.
teeth. You're crazy.
Let's see that big smile. Come on. So anyway, when she came to the United States, she worked for Lutheran Family Services for like minimum wage for a long time,
As
helping
what?
helping the refugees.
Oh, okay.
Got her American citizenship. As soon as she got her American citizenship, she went to work for Southern Foods, and because of her medical background and everything, it wasn't long. She was a health inspector for Southern Foods.
Oh.
And she worked for Southern Foods for 17 years?
I think it's 9 years.
Is that all?
Yeah.
I thought it was longer than that.
No, that 9 years. Only.
9 years after you worked for Lutheran Family Services.
Mm-hmm.
And she raised, she had a Mountain Yard husband when she came, okay? And that was a deal where it was just getting him out of, getting him over
Right.
there. And he turned out to be a bum.
Mhm.
And so
We kicked him.
she kicked him to the street real fast. And then she went to work at Southern Foods, and she raised all of her children, 5 children at that time.
School. I put them in school.
Yeah, put them all in school and raised them all by herself, single mother. And until they all got old enough to get out, on their own.
They didn't go college. They all get graduate high school, and
they've all got businesses now in the
they
area.
all get job. They do
Yeah.
good job. Yeah, they work.
And she has 5 grandchildren, all gainfully employed in the area.
Do any of your grandkids serve?
Yes, she
Are any of her
has
kids there?
a grandson right now in the
all
Navy.
grandkids, they all graduate, they all good in school.
Yeah, you have one grandson now, Neri's son, Fring.
Friend,
Yeah, he's in the Navy.
You know, in the
From in
From's
Navy.
in the Navy.
you know, in the background, I'm secretly keeping track of this to make your family. Your family tree.
Yeah. But she's so she did that. She raised the family and put them together and kept them together and got them all through school and everything. Now she's had 8 grandchildren or 11 grandchildren, 8 greats, and all right here around Greensboro.
So I'm curious, when you're in hiding for 13 years, what happens when you're in hiding? Meaning,
I have to go to jungle with Polaro, and I remember one lady, she very bad because her husband is like, he is like commander, and when he need me, he's sick, and I have to help him, and his wife yelling, and I didn't sleep with them, and I go somewhere, and
But
they both die, husband and wife and children, they both die in jungle.
what she did when she was hiding, mostly she worked in the fields when she could.
Yeah, I
And
have people on the
She
field.
was in bunkers and
and so everybody in the area just knew to not say anything.
all the co they
No,
You know what I mean? Like I would think it's that one of the reasons why you had to keep
Yeah.
moving
They
because
didn't-
you were in danger.
people tried to turn you in, didn't they? A couple times.
No, people like they call Polaro. They have husband, they have food, they have thing, they think I'm greedy. No.
So Tracy had some questions for you. Remember Tracy from the last one?
Yeah.
She's really sick today, but
Oh,
she sent you some questions. Number one, she wants to
Okay.
make sure that I tell you because I didn't.
okay.
That she appreciates your service, both
Okay.
of you.
Yeah.
And shame on me for not saying it first.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but she wants to make sure that I say that to you.
Okay. Yeah.
But she wants to know, can you take us back to Ben Het during the war and what was it like serving as a nurse under such extreme conditions?
Lots of blood.
You said when I get the nurse.
No, when you were a nurse in combat, man, what was it
Oh,
like? What did you feel?
Oh,
Like, how did she get injured herself?
Oh, she got injured. She was in
Did
the
you say she
medical.
was injured?
She was in the medical bunker, and one of
in
the
the
camps
bunker,
was
yeah, with the
overrun.
BC.
And the BC shot a B-40 rocket, hit the door, the logs on the door,
there,
and
and I
it
didn't
sprayed
know.
the.
I didn't know I got here and here, and I see bleeding, and my doctor said, "What happened, Ben?" I said, "I don't know." And I look in here, and I said, "Oh no!"
You
I
got shot in one of those.
Yeah, I got
Wow.
shot by.
That's why I didn't want to, before I kind of skipped over that, but I
Yeah.
wanted to circle back. to
So
what
and he
happened.
said, "Ben, get in here, get in here." He said like that. I said, "Oh, I'm okay." And I get in there, and he was, and he
Okay.
got a blended.
Sit up.
So and he said, "Make sure you take pill." He said like that, and he give me shot, and I said, "No, I'm good." I said, and not much bleeding. I said like that.
Oh, did I ever tell you the story of Martha Ray?
No.
Where was that? Duplop? Martha Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a USO show come into one of the A camps. Martha Ray was the USO show, right?
Okay.
Flew into the camp, was there overnight. Of course, now they're in an A camp. So she's in danger, right? I mean, this is front lines, right? And so where are they going to put her? They're in an A camp. Everybody's sleeping in bunkers, you've been 9 guys in each bunker and all that,
Right.
So they said Cabin she had a room in the sick bay in the hospital because they had this woman's room in the hospital, right?
Oh, okay.
And she was the only one in it. So Martha Ray, they decided to put Martha Ray with her for the night. So Cabin slept on the floor and Martha Ray took her bed.
Oh, wow. How'd you feel about that?
I let her sleep. Yeah, she want me to sleep with her, and I said no. I sleep here. I said I got. And she said, "Oh, you sure?" I said, "I'm okay." I said, "No, don't worry." I said, "I'm not worried." He said, "You sleep there, and I sleep here." She said, "Oh, okay." I let her sleep on the bed. You know me.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But that was just one little story.
Right. Well, Tracy also wanted to know, so when you came to the United States, how were the Montagnards treated then? How were you received?
I didn't come with that group. I just come by myself from Philippines, straight here. I just go straight to Lutheran family.
Try being a caretaker.
And then my friend and my best friend, him and his wife come by, and he bring a lot of stuff. And some Montagnard women come by and they look. I didn't ask them nothing, I
Hold hands.
I don't ask him nothing. I don't ask them. I don't ask them clothes. I don't ask them shoes, anything. I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I give to them some because I cannot wear a lot.
Command gets nothing from the VA or the government. Or
No.
nothing. And she's not even recognized.
And that's just hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Right.
She stood 3 days under fire in a medical bunker with enemy troops coming in and friendly troops coming in. The camp changed hands twice in that 3 days. And nothing.
And you have documentation for this.
Oh, yeah.
And who have you given this documentation?
Oh, it's gone to Washington, D.C. I had a lady in Washington, D.C. said, we're going to get Cabin a letter of service. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. A few months later, I called her up and I said, is there any movement on Cabin's service or anything? And she said, who? I said, never mind. Never mind.
Well.
So, we're working on it.
You never know who's going to hear your story.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Tracy has all kinds of connections, so you never know. I'm sure she's sitting there scribbling right now.
And she's her dementia is you can see she's picking and she's getting worse all the time.
She is still able to get around to get into trouble.
Oh, absolutely. She's completely mobile. She keeps me running.
Because I've heard how you've taken her to the movies and you needed to use the restroom and you found her miles down the road.
Yeah, that's right. I had to chase her down. And
it's
she wouldn't answer her phone. I've got her a phone, but she wouldn't answer it. Now she's got the tag on, I can find her. Yeah, but when she goes to a restroom in a restaurant, I go with her. I stand outside the door. It's 24/7, and
I'm still interested in figuring out how the DAV can help you.
Oh, I've forgotten that's in the mill. DAV. All I want is a babysitter a couple nights a week, so I can take a long path.
Right. Right.
But it's been a challenge, but she's all right. She's good. Hey, babe, tell me about when you had, how many babies did you bring into the world in helicopters?
More than 10.
In helicopters?
Yeah.
Wow.
How about the one time you brought 3 in one helicopter at one time?
I got the one lady had twin, one lady had third baby one time. One survive and two survive, one die. Die when she take home, not die in my hand. I deliver all in chopper here.
Wow. Tracy also wants to know, I'm not sure if she can answer some of this, but she said, how do you carry the memories of the soldiers you helped care for, especially those you couldn't save?
I cannot remember them name, a lot. When I first time they send me to that camp, they work with Vietnamese, and when they go to the field and the Vietnamese don't like me much. They say, I say like this, American go with me and you guy up front. They let American go to front, so when the BC attack and then a lot American get killed. Like 2 men, 3 men sometimes when I not go there. And I go there and nobody get killed. And I remember, I know, and me and my brother, yeah, and he told me,
Okay.
don't talk to them.
She gets pretty emotional sometimes. And
my brother
there's a guy named Schnebley that died, really affected her.
Yeah, and my brother said, don't say nothing in the jungle. Let the get home, and when they stand up in meeting, then you can talk. He said like that, and I listened to my brother. And when they go meet in the meeting, and he's the guy's name Captain Lowry, and he said, this time I'm not let Caben go. He said, Caben stay home. I said, a lot of women pregnant, and I have to deliver a baby. I'm not going. And I say like, make sure if you guys let them go, the Vietnamese get to go, and then some Montagnard, and then you guys third. I say like that, and they remember that, and they said that's Caben say they see right.
Okay, man.
So she has memories of,
Yeah, and she
say,
gets real emotional sometimes about, like she'll see a movie, a Vietnam War movie or something, and she'll get pretty emotional about.
Well, I think it's an important topic that is definitely worthy of being addressed, is that how dementia affects PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because we were talking about that.
She, her PTSD, basically, before she had started with the dementia, she had really severe PTSD. She'd wake up at night and start talking to me about battles and stuff. Now, it's like she's forgotten it.
Because of the strokes.
Yeah, because of the dementia. She doesn't remember. It's like she doesn't remember what she had for lunch today. If I say to her, go in the room and hang your robe up, that doesn't work, because she'll forget by the time she gets in the room what she's supposed to do.
Right.
And so, PTSD, I don't think it affects her too much anymore.
And she doesn't have things like some people with dementia that there are certain things they have and they look at them, it can evoke memories. I want people to understand that she came here, like everything she owned, like you said, was destroyed. So she doesn't have, I've seen one picture of her.
There's only about 3, I've only seen 3 pictures of her.
So she doesn't have.
No, she doesn't have all of that. And when her family, when she went into photo, when she grew, all of her clothes, her web gear, her camis that she wasn't taking with her, everything she wasn't carrying in a pack, they burned it. Everything was burned. Pictures of her husband, her kids, everything.
And are you saying she was there when that happened, or she wasn't there?
I don't know if she was there when that happened.
So how did you feel when you came back and realized all your things were destroyed?
I just get the new one, no problem. My mom, I don't care. My mom said, scare,
What a great attitude.
I get the uniform, everything, and she's scared. She burned all that. If they see that, they're going to take all family.
Right. I mean, your things are not nearly as important as you, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I just wondered if,
My dad said, buy the new one. He said, don't let you the old one.
Hey, let's see a smile.
So we do have to give a shout out to Lexi before she goes to bed. Because Lexi found out we actually.
Lexi, you're invited here anytime you want to come. I have to convince your mom of that.
No, it's all good. She heard today. We actually are doing this podcast today live from,
And our house
from
is
their house.
our
Yes.
house is wheelchair accessible.
Yes. And so Lexi heard Steve's voice on the phone and she got all excited thinking, oh yeah, we're going to their house, even though she hasn't been here, because she loves you guys. She loves you so much. And I said, Steve, you got to tell her right now, because she can hear you, that she can come over another day
Yeah.
because she listens to this podcast from beginning to end. And she won't even go to bed till I get home at night from the podcast. So I'm like, we have to give a shout out to Lexi, my little girl. Well, she's not little, she's 15. But
Yeah.
Lexi's first.
Just went to her first prom.
Yes.
Went
Yep.
to her prom. Yeah.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, we always, this show is about families. This May is Military Appreciation Month. And we appreciate so much the families who, as Tracy always says, it's not just like the veteran or the service member that serves, it's everyone attached to them as well. And people don't really think of that. And you two are a good example of that, because I think it was May the 9th was Military Spouse Day. So I wish you had your I actually do have the paper with your poem in it
Oh, yeah.
about the military spouse. So I might read that because it's beautiful. But you two are a great example of the fact that you both were in the military, serving from different countries at the same time in the same country, and then you end up back together here and create a whole new life here. And now he's, caring.
Oh,
for
by the
you.
way, the real quick, I just thought of something. The jump wings. Turn your head.
Oh yes, talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk-
Airborne qualified. And the funny thing was, I've talked to other special forces guys. They said they wait forever for her to hit the ground.
What?
She'd jump out of an airplane. She'd just float around up there. She was so light.
Oh,
So small.
so do you remember that?
Yeah,
And how did you feel about that? How many times did you jump? Do you know?
3.
3. Did
Yeah.
you like it?
3 after jump school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.
3 tandem or by yourself?
No, by herself.
By yourself.
She was fully airborne.
I'm
I
sure. I
don't
am I
know.
kidding? I should have known.
Yeah.
Little
No,
ones
she
don't help.
was,
Yeah.
In fact, all of her jumps were equipment jumps, and they were all in Vietnam. I mean, she went through jump school, not bad.
Wow.
So, yeah.
When
Cameron
when I
Bay.
go to the field, the pilot, helicopter, he said, if he die, what you gonna do? He takes me, and I said, I cannot do that. No.
Trying to
Teach
teach
him
her
how
how
to
to drive.
drive, yeah.
Oh,
Drive the helicopter, And
oh.
he said, if something wrong with us, he said, what you gonna do? I jump, I say like that. And he said, oh no. We already on the ground and to take this. He saw me that, and I said, I cannot do that.
I'm surprised that
He tried to teach me how to drive the helicopter, and I said, no. And
that was just pushing it a little too
no,
far.
I said,
Well, you got to remember now, the Mountain Yards, her tribe, these are people that crossbows in the field. These were from the stress she's got on. It's all hand woven. It's all done on a loom in the dirt, sitting on the ground, And
That's why she fusses. She's perfect.
She keeps fussing with it.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's beautiful.
But then she went to Special Forces selection in Natron. She went down there and they were running a school for the LLEDB.
LEDB. Yeah.
LEDB. Yeah.
So do you have any kind of, Tracy, one of our other questions is if you had a message for other young people about going in the service?
No, they just few, only men, not women. And my dad, he worry. My mom lazy, get up in the morning. I have to cook early, like 3 o'clock. I already get up.
But babe, Would you recommend that somebody go in the military now? Would you say yes, go to the military? Like free?
Yeah.
Like free?
Yeah.
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 Mhm. Yeah,
It's
that
a
would
good
work.
career, isn't it?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though you never got paid for your career.
No.
But it would be so nice to see her recognized. I mean,
Well, I just like to see her get the medical.
Hmm.
Everything she gets now is through Medicare.
But
Even as a
recognition.
spouse, you know.
I feel like she's such a beautiful example. You know, next month is Women's Military Month.
Yeah.
At least in North Carolina it is. So I really debated about when to bring her on. But I really, you know, since we missed her last month, we really wanted her to come back.
Right.
And we really wanted you to tell your story because it's such an inspiring.
Wait,
such
did I
inspiration.
even say about me what my military career was tonight? Did I say anything?
No, you didn't, because you said you wanted to just talk about KBN. So I thought I'll let you wait till you know, share.
Well, I was
that
a
story.
Navy SEAL from
Mhm.
1962. I was in underwater demolition team.
Mhm.
From 1959, I was in UDT or SEAL
Mhm.
from 1959 until 82.
Wow.
1982.
It's just, I mean, it's not surprising you would not have met her there, but what's surprising is that you would end up, both of you, having the same friend.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what-
several.
Right?
Several friends.
Really?
Yeah, but I worked with Special Force a lot of different places. Matter of fact, I went to Special Forces jump school in Okinawa. I didn't go through Fort Bragg or anything. Then I went to Halo School with Special Forces in Okinawa. I went through the POR school with Special Forces.
But it's just surprising that you would, of all the people there, that you would have.
Well, we weren't working the same area. I was working more to the south, you know, in the swamps, and she was up in the high mountains.
So that's why it surprises me that you would know the same people.
Yeah.
You know, I find that
Look over there.
striking, like it was meant,
Thank you.
like it was meant to, like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, it really was meant
Smile,
to be.
man.
He's determined for you to show you those teeth. Yeah, he's determined. He wants you to
I want you
smile.
to smile. I want you to give that smile you gave Mike.
Lexi did send you a message, and she said she wanted to say hello.
Oh.
So,
So Lexi, say hello, Lexi, babe.
yes.
Say hello, Lexi.
No.
Way better. Wave at Lexi.
She's not there.
Yes, she is. She's watching.
She's watching. Yes.
Oh.
Say hi, Lexi.
Hi.
Yeah, so that was a message from Tracy. Lexi is the daughter of Lori, the host of the Tree and Valor.
Okay.
She, I didn't ask this, but I would be curious to know. What is the, not condition, but what is life like for Montagnards now here?
They've been accepted as citizens. Most of them are hardworking and they're respected. Everybody I know that has anything to, you know, I'll run into somebody once in a while that'll say, yeah, I work at such and such place. And boy, I know a lot of Montagnards. They work with me and they're great. You know,
Greensboro has a very large Montagnard.
I haven't had anybody.
Yeah, but you know, if I speak my dialect, they don't speak mine. I speak all.
Most of them are Rade.
They all Rade drive on hard.
But they
So how do
Oh,
you
by the
know,
way,
how does
so-
that work? How does that work that you know who,
I know
like
they
how
speak.
they're-
Here. I know that when they
the
speak,
minute they speak, she
they
knows what
speak.
tribe they're from.
They speak different dialect. So
so each Montagnard,
But I-
each tribe speaks a different.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I speak them all. They don't speak
Babe.
mine.
Say hello to the Rades out there.
Hello, Ray, you're not there.
No, see, somebody's
see you.
watching.
They can
They
see
can
you.
see you.
They can
They
see
can
you.
see you. Say hello, and they're like,
They're not Rade.
they said, tell them.
No,
Say hello.
you. I don't see no Rade there.
You won't see them, but they can.
Yeah.
Well, say hello to the color. They know
can-
there's some
they
color
can-
watching.
They can see you. But I
Saya say Malay mah irade. Saya say Malay rade. Go ho say niam sa.
Yeah, let's hear all and let us say
Yeah.
hello
So-
or and in your 12.
Say, how about Bahar?
Huh?
Bahar.
Benar say oi lang. Penong say xoay mah.
Koho say Nimsa.
No say niam sa yeah. That only you know.
So they know, but we won't.
Yeah.
Because you have to realize this isn't just here on social media.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, this will play on the radio on 60 different radio stations. So you don't know who.
It's
may be
on
listening.
YouTube and it's all over.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's
Is it on Instagram?
mhm.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's all
Okay,
different.
they just-
It's all different places there. Oh yes, they're showing you that it's on 107.5 this month.
Okay.
Every Wednesday. So your show will be on next Wednesday at 4:00.
Okay.
Yeah, from 4 to 6 or
Mhm.
whenever the show is over.
Yeah.
And so Tracy wants to make sure that everyone realizes that we represent every single branch of the service. And I'm sure this is the first time I've done this myself, so she's probably having a fit of all the things I'm forgetting. But Tracy is a Gold Star mom, which means just like
Yeah, she
your
knows
mom,
what a gold star.
right, would be a Gold Star mom. So in reality, if she was in the, from the United States. So this whole show is always circles back to Sergeant Two-Step because that's a missing piece of her heart. And I don't think there's ever going to be, from all the Gold Star families I've talked to, there's never a day ever that they don't spend a large portion of that day missing their child.
Yeah.
Because you, Steve, lost a child.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I
It's
lost
a thing.
mine in an auto accident.
Right, but
yeah.
how we lose is a thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it doesn't change the loss.
No. And as far as military people, I have a real hard time with this argument over who's a Gold Star mom and who's not. I've had several underwater demolition team buddies that have lost their life in training accidents. One guy went through the screws of a propeller on a submarine.
Wow.
One guy jumped out of an airplane. Nothing came out of his parachute. He landed in a field of tomato steaks.
Oh, God.
Things happen. And as far as I'm concerned, those parents that sent their sons off to the military, whether they were in battle or not, they were serving their country. They were there.
Training
They
for
were
war.
they would have gone to war if they could. They never had the opportunity, some of them, and they're just as much Gold Star moms as anybody
Right.
else.
And the loss feels the same.
Oh yeah.
It really does.
I have a real hard time with that argument.
I do.
Yeah.
I do as well. And so does Tracy.
Yeah.
Because we lose veterans
Yeah.
so many different ways. And
And she's a Gold Star sister. She lost two brothers.
2 brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So William, who's part of the show, his son Tai, I don't know if you saw his show. He does, he's called the Washington State Freedom Runner. He runs every day. Now he's in the service now, so I don't know exactly how this works, but he does push-ups. I saw him today online. He does push-ups and runs for not just the 22 a day veterans and first responders, but for those veterans. They say it's 5 a day, that we lose 5 veterans a day or 5 service members a day from it could be homicide.
Oh yeah.
It could be illness.
Yeah.
It can be training accident.
Well, my sea daddy and underwater demolition team was a fellow by the name of Ed Reynolds. And Ed Reynolds was a chief. I was 3rd class, I think, or 2nd class when I went through training, and he adopted me. He decided that I needed guidance, right? And I did. I needed guidance. And he adopted me for many, many years. And finally, one day, he was E9, and he was assigned to Naval Special Warfare Group. He'd been over to tie his boots one day, and his back tripped out on him. And he had several surgeries. They couldn't do anything for him. He was still assigned to Naval Special Warfare in an administrative position, but that wasn't him. That was not him. And one day he was in the chief's barracks and he couldn't get his boots on to go to work. He pulled a 38 out of a drawer, put it in his mouth, and pulled the trigger. And but he had, he did a couple of tours in Vietnam and all that stuff. So, he had a lot of going on, and he was going through a divorce and, all that.
Right.
And it's just that one thing, he couldn't get his boots on it.
But it's not that one thing.
No, I mean, but
Yeah.
everything caught
It's
me.
layered.
It got
It's
up
layered.
there to that point, though, where it was just a small thing of not being able to put his boots on. He said, that's it.
Right, right. And this is always the point in the show where we tell people, if you please reach out,
Yeah,
please
absolutely.
reach out because
Absolutely.
Unfortunately it's more common. It's the people that who are not telling us.
Ben, you got to say hello. Rob, say hello to Rob. He's
I
watching.
know you can't see him, but Rob's watching.
Rob's watching. Say hello, brother.
Is he not there?
Yeah, he's there. He's watching. Say hello, brother. Say hello, brother. Hello, Murphy.
They can see you even though you can't see them.
Say it, babe.
Hello? No, it's not there.
He's not going to answer now,
Okay.
but he'll appreciate that you said hi, Rob.
Say hi.
No.
How about Allison from Try It On Her Flight?
Yeah, say hello to Allison.
You know
She's
Allison
watching.
from the Try It On.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's watching.
She's there? No.
Hi, K-Ben.
Yes, see you there.
All right, Tracy's come on to say hello and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy,
Nice to see you, K-Ben. Love to you
Hi,
both.
Tracy.
Great job. Great job. Thank you so much for your service to both of you.
I always say I'd do it again, but they won't let me.
Too old. Too old.
Are you feeling better, Tracy?
I'm doing decent. I'm loving watching everything that's going on right now with K-Ben, and of course, both of you. Thank you for your service and for what you're doing and getting the story out. And this true story is very important. Everybody tune into patriotsinsidethewire.com. We have the full episode. And again, there is more that you can get to through the website. K-Ben, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to the show to wrap up. And I just wanted to say thank you personally from me. Thanks.
We hope you feel better. Tracy, did you want to finish with the song? I don't know if she can hear us.
It's up to you.
Well, why don't you if you're able to, you could pick a song that you feel like is appropriate. I always love is the Best of Us song. I think that would be a really great song for them. Because really you talk about the best of us, these two. Yes. Uncle Rhino's The Best of Us song is one of my favorites. Can you do that one?
It looks like you have the choice of Raise Up Your Glasses, Flag, Empty Chair at the Table, Whisper, which you know very well. Those are the songs loaded for Wednesday.
Oh, okay. So The Best of Us isn't on there. Oh, okay. So The Best of Us wasn't one of the choices.
1 second. I'm getting it.
Okay. Wow. Nice. So we're going to do a shout out before she comes on. Who?
Rob O'Hanlon, you need to be on here. You need to do this.
Okay.
Talk about the field of honor, brother.
Yep. So that's our big shout out. Just like Tracy and we love, any kind of, whether it's boxing, like when I was a kid watching Muhammad Ali with my dad, to bare knuckle fighting, watching it with my husband and Lexi, right? We love bare knuckle fighting. So at the end, they always say, who are you going to fight?
Yeah.
So who should be
Rob,
on the podcast?
That's it, Rob. Rob
Okay.
gotta come.
All right, Rob, you heard it. So we're going to close out this show with, are we going to do the best of us?
I'm back. Yeah. So on patriotsinsidethewire.com, you've had the Tree of Valor tonight with Kay Ben, of course, and her true story. You can tune into the website to find more and all of the different links to go to in order to watch. Right now, I will play The Best of Us. It is a song by Uncle Rhino. He is a partner with us in Patriots Inside the Wire, the Two Step Tribe Productions, and the Tree of Valor. Thank you so much. Here's the song. It is called Best of Us by Uncle Rhino.
There's a crowd outside my window and they're gathered in the street. They're screaming and they're yelling in the name of peace. War never is the answer, but some battles must be fought. As long as we remember who it is that pays the cost. They are the best of us, those women and men, where angels fear to tread. They charge right in, over land or in the air, across the ocean or somewhere. They sacrifice it all for the rest of us. Nobility and honor are so rare these days. Next time you see a soldier, hope you take the time to say you're the best of us. There are two parents in the heartland waving goodbye to their child. Through the rain and down of tears, there is pride in their smile. And the countless single parents raising children on their own, short on money, short on time, trying to keep this house a home. They are the best of us, those women and men in cities, farms and towns. They are family and friends. Every night they say a prayer for someone fighting God knows where. They sacrifice it all for the rest of us. Nobility and honor are so rare these days. Next time you see a soldier, hope you take the time to say you're the best of us. Oh, you are the best of us. Nobility and honor are so rare these days. Next time you see a soldier, hope you take the time to say you're the best of us. You are the best of us. Hey, you're the best of us. You are the best of us. You're the best of us. You are the best of the best of us. You'll always be the best of us.
There you have it. That was
Okay.
Best of Us by Uncle Rhino tonight on patriotsinsidethewire.com. You can check it out. And the Tree of Valor tonight, Miss Lori, tonight solo, did a great show. You had a lot tuning in. We're still live, so wanted to let you say what you'd like to say goodnight to the guests. And I just want to say thank you and thank you for your service.
I am so thankful that they allowed me to come, and I love doing podcast with the guests. I think it adds something so special to the show. Next week is actually Command Master Chief James Parlier, who he
Yeah.
was going to shout out to do
Yeah.
from the USS Cole.
Great guy.
Yes, he's a cat. He has lived so many lives. I also want to give a shout out for our event on Memorial Day. So I'm not sure what you're doing on Memorial Day, Tracy, but we are having a very special event at the gallery at 6:30, and we will be honoring veterans at the gallery in a very special presentation there, as well as the trees. Free ice cream from Peach Cobbler Factory, but as well as during the day going to Graham. These two are going to be in a parade.
I'm going to try and get there though.
Yeah. Oh, I hope that would be great.
Yeah, we got all these events going on.
They're going to be in the Thomasville Parade, which is a huge parade in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
And,
Tracy, do you have plans?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to get back to you on that one. We can announce it next week, next Wednesday when we're live at
I think you should
7:15
fly up to North
Eastern.
Carolina. I think you should fly up to North Carolina.
Sponsors, calling all sponsors, please stand by.
Yes, that would be so great. So thank you, Tracy, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week. But thank you, Kay Ben. Your story was as phenomenal as you are.
You're a pretty special lady.
And we are going to do another story with Steve. Here at their house, there's a huge wall of all different parts of his career that I want to be able to show that during his next podcast. So the next time we do his follow-up, it'll be here.
This is my new studio here that we're using, but I haven't got the lighting down pat. Yeah.
So
It
thank you,
looks
Tracy.
great. It looks great. I love it. Yes. And don't forget, everyone, there's already an episode that's fabulous that we do have. So if you go to patriotsinsidethewire.com, you'll actually be able to see this full episode and find the episode that they're speaking of and the upcoming episodes. Follow YouTube and you'll get a notification. And the Tree of Valor will be live again every Wednesday, 7:15 Eastern Time live. So tune in, stay tuned. And thank you, Kay Ben, for your service of helping those in all the ways that you did in your story is so important. I don't know if you noticed, but we did get a few comments for you. And one of them said, it's Rhonda, I know her well. And she said, you've got to write these stories down. And I said, well, I've got a whole bio that I redid, and you've got all kinds of things there. So I just want to say thank you to you both for your service to both of you, and your heroism is one that's just so true and such a true heroic great life. It's not just a story. It's
Tracy,
a
we do
just
have
a
a
life.
question. I hate to interrupt you, but we do have a question because we know you know a lot of people. So
Uh-oh.
this story, like of her not being recognized for all she did for Americans,
If she could get a letter of, they call it a letter of service.
a letter of
And if
service
she
so
could
that
get
she
that,
could get
She could get VA benefits.
she could get her VA benefits. Not to mention, I mean, well, if it was up to me, she'd get a Purple Heart amongst many other things.
Oh, wow. I'm worried
yeah.
about that.
But she wants
vid-
the benefits of that.
She got the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. And she got
Oh.
individual and unit.
Wow. So if you have any, I know you know people.
Well, we'll put it out there to everybody because we're still live right now. So
I know, but that's why. I just
yeah.
wanted to throw that
Yeah,
out
we'll
there.
put it out. The smartest thing that I say to do is go to a state rep in your
Mhm.
area and
Me
get them to do the work.
We're working on it.
We'll
I
put,
would
like,
make them do the work, but we do have a couple people through Heroes Media Group, so we'll make sure, and we need to ask them. So that's another wonderful group that's behind Patriots Inside the Wire. That's Heroes Media Group. So we can always reach out to them too for who's the expert in dealing with this. So, and I'll get Lori in touch with Heroes Media Group.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you,
Sounds
Tracy.
good. Thank you. Thank you to the Tree of Valor, Miss
you,
Lori.
Tracy. We'll see
All
you.
right. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Kay Ben. Thank you both. We'll see you back again for another story. We're going to close out tonight. Thank you for joining us. Tune in to patriotsinsidethewire.com for the full episode and more, and where to find our podcast or the radio station 107.5. Thank you so much. We hope you tune back in.